Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Doug with News and Views by Doug. And, you know, they say that, things don't change, they remain the same. So, Iran, even though they signed the temporary agreement to stop the fighting, they've gone back on their word like I fully expected. And I've been telling you all along. You can't trust the Iranian regime, and they're the devil. So Hezbollah, who is supported by Iran, launched attacks on Israeli troops in southern Lebanon. And just yesterday alone, they launched over 50 missiles at the Israelis, and the Israelis retaliated. So what does Iran do? Israel broke the ceasefire, and they shut down the Straits of Hormuz. Told any ship, if you go near it, we're going to bomb you. Didn't realize Israel was a part of the ceasefire because, honestly, they weren't included in the talks. The U.S. did not negotiate with their partner, Israel, sitting next to them. More than likely because the Iranians would never show up. They hate the Israelis that much. So Israel is being told by the United States, take it easy, don't retaliate. But when it's not your troops being killed and your people being attacked, you do what you got to do to defend yourself. And if roles were reversed, there's no world country that could ever tell America what to do and not to retaliate. So it just came out about 2 hours ago. Iran, their diplomats did finally go to Switzerland, and they landed. And Vice President Vance and his team have left the United States to go to Switzerland so they can start these official negotiations. But I tell you, from what I've seen, the negotiations, this isn't done well. So I don't know if you've read any parts of the truce, but I don't believe it's in our best interests. And of course, Iran's telling their people that they won the war. They kicked America's ass. But they've already announced that in 60 days, they're going to start charging a toll for ships to go through the Straits of Hormuz. When these are international waters, and the U.S. said that the straits would be open and oil would be flowing. And then supposedly they're getting a lot of money. And even though it's not directly from the U.S. taxpayer, it's supposed to be from countries investing in Iran to rebuild. What country in their right mind is going to rebuild? What private corporation is going to go in there and risk being kidnapped, thrown in prison, extorted? There's 6 Americans right now that, from what we say, have been wrongfully imprisoned. And we're asking for those 6 Americans back because they're being held hostage. So, again, you can't believe anything the Iranians say. Now,
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. My name is Alexandra Goldberg, and moments ago we saw the Vice President J.D. Vance departing on his way to Switzerland for talks with Iran. He did speak to the press. We're going to play out those remarks.
guys. Good afternoon. Well, looking forward to starting the technical talks. You're going too close, sir. Okay. Looking forward to starting the technical talks with the Iranians, the Pakistanis, and the Qataris. Our understanding is that the Iranians just landed. The Qataris and Pakistanis and some of our technical negotiators have been on the ground. So look, we'll have a couple days of talks. We'll try to get this thing kicked off in the right way. There's a lot to discuss, but we're going to go through it all.
Sir, fighting in Lebanon to try to upend the entire process. What does the U.S. plan to do about that?
Well, Marco and the entire team have been actively managing what's going on in Lebanon. Despite the headlines, things are actually getting better there. Things have calmed down a little bit. It's going to be something we're just going to have to continuously manage to ensure that, Israel and Lebanon are both safe and secure. That's fundamentally the goal of this, is to make the whole region safe and secure. The big problem is that you have somebody will shoot and then somebody will respond, and you kind of have a chicken and egg problem where you've just got to stop the scene for long enough to get the ceasefire to hold. That's what we're going to try to do. We'll keep on working at it, but things have gotten better.
Sir, what is the most important thinking about your schedule in Switzerland? What would make this a successful trip for you?
Well, I think number one, just getting things set up in the right way and getting the actual structure of the negotiation in place. So the way that we're going to do this is that we're going to have a principal level political leadership at the top, and then obviously the technical team is going to stay on the ground. As much as I might like to stay in what appears to be a beautiful place, I can only be there for a day or two. I think we're going to hopefully make progress on the nuclear issue, make progress on the Lebanon ceasefire issue. Those are the two big things that I think we're going to be focused on. I'm sure the Iranians are going to have issues they'd like to discuss as well. We'll see you guys on the other side. Thank you.
I made a video earlier talking about how great the World Cup has been for the United States and how all these people are coming from around the world and just blown away. But, as in typical Chicago, yesterday they had President Obama's library open, and not sure how many people wanted to pay the $34 to go in and look at it. But in southwestern Chicago last night on Juneteenth, the federal holiday that celebrates the slavery ending in Galveston, Texas. And by the way, Juneteenth wasn't the end of slavery in America. Here's a little known fact. So we had the Emancipation Act by President Lincoln, the first Republican, and he freed all the black slaves, and they didn't know about it. The fighting continued for a while, and when the war finally ended, a lot of the slaves still didn't know that they were free. And black Union soldiers went into Galveston, Texas, and cleared out any Confederates that were there, and they discovered that there was at least one plantation, lots of slaves, and they were still working as slaves. So the Union general came in and told them, "You're free. The war's over. The South lost. You're now free men and women." And so that's where this Juneteenth comes from. But what they don't tell you is there were still black slaves in America. And who owned them? The Choctaw Indians. And even the Cherokee Indians had black slaves. And I can't give you a date on when that ended, but it took the United States government to go on to these Indian reservations and tell them, free the slaves. And that happened a while after Galveston. So, a little bit of a history lesson there. But last night in Chicago, since we digressed there was a Juneteenth celebration going on. A lot of people were out in the street, and a red SUV pulled up, and two people inside the SUV opened fire, hitting at least 12 people from 17 to 43. And it was a drive-by, as typical, and they took off. Lots of rounds were fired, and again, 12 people, mass shooting. They haven't said if anyone died. I think some are in critical condition. But listen to the reporter at the end of the clip, and she'll tell you how many shootings there were in Chicago overnight and how many homicides. Chicago, a sanctuary state, sanctuary city, with huge gun restrictions, tight gun restrictions. And yet, every weekend in Chicago, multiple shootings, multiple homicides. And it just never ends in Chicago.
You're going to see dozens of evidence markers. We counted over 100 so far. This is just after 11 o'clock last night near 95th and Wentworth. As I mentioned, police say so far their preliminary investigation finding that a red SUV pulled alongside a large crowd there. Two people from inside of that SUV started shooting towards the crowd before driving off. We know multiple victims were shot, 12 people again shot, taken to local hospitals. Again, some of those people were able to drive themselves to the hospitals or be taken by other people. We know officers say they found a 32-year-old woman with at least 2 gunshot wounds to her back, a 44-year-old man with several graze wounds to his back. Megan, it appears that the victims are anywhere between 17 and 47 years old. Again, this is near the Washington Heights neighborhood. You can see a large police presence there. Officers shining their flashlights as they're investigating that scene. Still very little details available as to what exactly led up to this shooting. We're still hoping to find out more information about the victims and exactly how they're doing so far. It looks like most of them, from the information that we have from police, are in good condition, except one 26-year-old that is in critical condition at the University of Chicago Medical Center right now. Megan, we're working to get more details. We're bringing you more updates just as soon as we learn more.
In the city's south side, Chicago police say calls for help again about a person being shot around 11 o'clock last night. Responding officers arrived in the 200 block of West 95th Street to find a 32-year-old and a 44-year-old wounded. Both had been shot multiple times. Now, upon further investigation, police say they found several other people who had also been attacked. In all, there were about a dozen people, 4 women, 8 men, ranging in age from 17 to 47 years old. Authorities say the gunfire erupted after a red SUV pulled up alongside this group of individuals, and then 2 people inside that vehicle began shooting before fleeing the scene. Now, the victims were all taken to different hospitals, obviously, based on the severity of their injuries. They range, again, from good to critical. Now, the police have not given us any pure motive or simple motive for this particular attack. Of course, as I mentioned before, they're still in the preliminary stages of their investigation. You may want to take note that since Friday night, around 6 o'clock, there have been 21 people shot, including 4 homicides.
So anyways, folks, that's currently what's going on. Please be safe. Keep an eye out. If you see something, say something. Stay out of trouble. Keep your family and friendly safe. Did I say that? Friends and family. And if you like what I have to say, please subscribe. The channel is growing. And leave a comment. Give a thumbs up. Let me know what's on your mind. Please stay safe and you take care. God bless you and God bless America.